episode 2, the Body Smart podcast. Hiya!
Hello.
I'm Gemma, and you are?
And I'm Jaymie.
We're no Jim today.
No Jim today.
Jim's busy.
Jim's busy, very busy.
It's pretty much going to be me and thee, isn't it? Me and you.
It is, me and you.
And
me
maybe
and you.
some guests in the future.
For sure.
Oh, yeah, very exciting.
If you're listening, reach out.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, yeah. What, like for actual people to come on and be interviewed?
Yeah.
I've not thought of that.
Well, why not?
That's a great idea. You're full of good ideas, you are.
Well, thank you.
Today is going to be all about you.
It is, fortunately,
No,
maybe.
don't say unfortunately.
Okay.
I'm going to be nice.
Yeah, okay.
Right,
No, we'll go in.
So you are the face
I am.
of
I
Body
am.
Smart Fitness
Mm-hmm.
and the body
A little bit.
as well. Let's
Yeah.
be honest. Are you an influencer?
Oh my God. Someone went to my girlfriend Steph the other day. They were like, "What does your boyfriend do?" And they were like, "He's an influencer." And she was like, "No, he's not." And I was like, "Thank you for defending that, because Jesus, it's just, there's obviously a hell of a lot more that goes into running a successful business than just putting a few posts on social media." Which actually,
A few posts.
a few posts.
Do you mean thousands?
Thousands and thousands of posts, yeah. But yeah, I think I've only actually put about 5 or 6 topless photos on our page out of like a couple of thousand, which is...
We'd have had miles more followers if you'd got naked.
I've just got that one naked photo on the toilet, haven't I?
Oh, yeah.
That
Should we
always
explain that?
Causes a lot of controversy, doesn't it?
But I think that's what's good about you. You're not afraid to put yourself out there. You're also not afraid to tackle subjects that, and let's be honest, in fact, when I first trained with you 6 years ago, you were the first personal trainer who asked me the question, "What are your poos like?" And I was like, what?
Yeah. I'm honestly, I'm probably one of the few guys that spoke to a lot of our clients who's the first man who spoke to them openly about the menstrual cycle.
Yeah.
And just, it's like, you see it when I've had like Zoom calls with them, their faces just taken back, like, this is weird, but you understand and get it, and it's making more sense than maybe I know about my menstrual cycle. So, no, yeah, we're not. It's all part of your health, isn't it? Having a healthy menstrual cycle or being self-aware around certain parts of your cycle, really, really important. Having a great poo, really, really important. Part of healthy digestion and healthy bowel. So, no, we're not scared of talking about stuff that matters, because it's your health at the end of the day, and that does matter.
And if you haven't seen that picture, definitely head to Body Smart Fitness on Instagram. Scroll back, and there's a picture.
Two disclaimers. I am naked, but you don't see anything.
Right.
And people have said they were scared about swiping because they thought they would see my poo, and you don't. You see the Bristol stool chart, which is what nurses use and show people, patients, when they come in. And I get, it's good. It's a good post. Very informative. You'll learn a lot.
Anyway, moving on from poo, because this has been like the first few minutes of this podcast, we're talking about poo. Let's talk about you. From poo to you.
Okay.
Jaymie Moran.
Hello.
We had a little chat the other day, and I learned things. I've known you for 6 years, and I learned things about you the other day that I'd never knew before. And so I went, this would make a great podcast episode. So I've saved it, and I've got some questions for you.
Fire away.
I want you to go back in time to when you were at primary school in year 5, which for our American listeners is 4th grade.
Yes.
So you would have been 9 or 10. You'd have turned 10 in the November of year 5. What was life like then?
School was challenging for me. I was dyslexic, but didn't know it at the time. So I struggled taking a lot in. Reading books for me wasn't a great way of absorbing information. And I did struggle with, I was in a lot of sports and sports teams where they get bullied pretty badly. I was getting a lot of fights in school, after school. And yeah, it was a challenging, hard time. And it got that bad that I actually used to make myself sick to stay off school. So I'd make myself vomit. I'd used to suck my arm, so marks would go on it. And my mum used to do like the meningitis test, which was like you'd roll a glass over it, and if you could see the mark through the glass, that was like, it's bad.
Yeah.
But it did that, and I cottoned on to that. So I'd just play up, and it was because school was that challenging for me. Like I was that unhappy going into school. So I was doing these type of things to stay off. So yeah, year 5 and being in that school at that time was tough. It was really tough at that point.
And at what point did your mum and dad kind of go, oh, this is an issue and a problem?
When I was staying off for, prolonged periods of time, I'm really fighting back about going into school and just coming back and being, miserable with just arguments that were going on with kids, or, you had a lot of kids who were quite witty and I just wasn't. So, when you get into like arguments or, you're having like spaffs with people, if you weren't good at giving shit back basically as a kid, more people would side with the other person because they just laugh at you, because you were left there stood a bit stupid. So, that there was a lot that was going on, and then some of that led to violence because you'd say some things back, and violence being just like fights on the playground or fights after school, and things used to always get hyped up in school. Oh, so-and-so was going to have a fight after school, and everyone would gather around, and a lot of pressure, a lot of social anxiety, and not a great place for me. I wasn't in a happy place at that point.
Did your teachers help at all?
I think they just maybe see me more as like a bit of a reckless underachiever. You know what I mean? I was a little bit, I was answering back to teachers and probably not being the best student because I didn't know. So that was the only way I I don't know how to study these books, and I'm struggling with my exams. But if I answer back to the teacher, they'll kick me out of the class, and when I don't have to deal with that. So it was me just trying to navigate through school at that time. And yeah, it was tough. Yeah.
And your mum realised this?
My mum and dad, yeah.
Who was it? They sent you, didn't they, to another school for like a trial day?
So yeah, my uncle worked in a school called St. Mary's, and he was a teacher there. And he said, why don't we get Jay to come down? Because I think my dad had spoke to him and said, look, he's really unhappy. Why don't you come down and do a trial day in St. Mary's? So I went down, and I went to this, done a day. It was on a Friday. It wasn't half the day is spent doing sports. On like the sports field or sports afternoon or whatever else, and I went, and it was a great day. All the kids were really nice, warm, and welcoming. And then in the afternoon, we done sprints, and there was a guy called Rob Anderson, and he was known as like the fastest kid in the school, and we ran a 100-meter race, and I beat him. So like instantly, I'm like, first day in this new school, I've like everyone's like raving and ranting because I've just beat this kid, and I'm like the new kid on the block and stuff. And I think I just come back, and I was like electric after school. I'd learned loads. I was talking about all these people I'd met. I felt, I was in such high spirits. And I think my mum and dad at that point went, look, we've got to get Jay out of this school and move him to that other one. And I did, and it was, within 2 weeks of being there, they asked me to go for a dyslexic test. Found out I was dyslexic, and started sending me for like extra tuition on a Thursday morning and a Saturday morning, which helped. I had a bigger lisp than I have now. I didn't know how to pronounce certain words. Learned how to read a little bit better. I used to read and skip words and that type of stuff. So it made a really, really big difference. And I think within 3 or 4 weeks of being there, I was in the athletics team and won something like a load of gold medals and a plaque. I think I showed you the picture the other day. In fact,
we should, for those people who are watching this on YouTube, if you're listening, you'll have to find this on YouTube. We will flash up now this newspaper article which you sent me, which is a picture of you in your St. Mary's school uniform. Because we should point out, actually, you missed a part of that story. St. Mary's is a private school which you have to pay for. Yes. Yeah. And your mum and dad were so determined to help you because you were so unhappy. They were like, we've got to make this work.
And it's that wasn't an easy decision for them to make. I think they put themselves in a precarious financial situation to make that happen. But when I think you've got your child, like I'm not a parent, but when you've got your child coming home that miserable, that they've struggling with school, struggling with other kids, struggling academically, getting bullied, there's fights going on, there's all that pressure trying to stay off school, and then I come back off this one day and I'm just electric, and I've got all these names and of all these new kids, and I was just enjoying it so much. They were just like, we're going to make this happen. So
but this newspaper article, what I love about it is I was like, oh, look at you. You're in your lovely St. Mary's uniform. You've got this big shield and trophies, and it says he's only been in the school a matter of weeks and has gone from zero to hero. Yeah. And I love the fact that, is it your mum? She's highlighted the quote from the head teacher at the bottom because she's obviously really proud at that point. But yeah, and that's what you do as a parent. You want the best for your kids. So that's school. And of course, your mum and dad, like you say, put themselves in a financial position to do that because you are the eldest child of 4.
Of 4, yeah.
And you've got 3 sisters.
3 younger sisters, yeah.
Which leads me beautifully, nicely onto, we spoke about this in the first episode, why coach women? Because of Body Smart Fitness, you only coach women. And, you mentioned there that you've got your 3 sisters and your 3 cousins, 3 female cousins and your mum's sister as well. So it was a house full of women.
And my mum's got 2 other sisters as well, so and one of them's got a daughter, so yeah, a lot of women.
A lot of girls.
A lot of girls, a lot of women, yeah.
What was that like growing up as the eldest, the boy, in a house full of women?
Well, I kept wondering why my dad used to just disappear when my 2 aunties had come round and there'd be another 6 women in the house on top of my mum and my 3 sisters. So yeah, it was interesting. A lot of everything. I used to just honestly just try and lock myself away and play my Xbox and like leave me alone. But yeah, spent a lot of time with just spent a lot of my early years around a lot of women.
What did you notice?
Oh God, I don't know what to say.
Talk about the times when we were chatting the other day where the girls would be getting ready to go out. What was that like?
So a little bit, yeah, being a little bit older when we all started, people like going out or, going to parties and that type of stuff. I mean, with even my cousins and with my sisters, there was just always this, really like negative self-talk before they go out because they put a dress on and it wouldn't fit the way they would want it to. Like grabbing the fat and they're screaming at my mom, this doesn't fit me the way I want to. Why I'm so fat, I'm so this. For me, I think they're all in a lot better shape than they were then, but they're also a lot older now. But they weren't fat in my eyes at all, but that's what they seen. And when they put certain clothes on, it was like World War III, and they'd be robbing clothes off each other and that would cause murder. My mum almost was like a counsellor and a coach just to be like, no, you look great, your hair is this, you did, all that type of stuff. But it was really like hard to hear them talk about themselves like that, you know what I mean? And it was such a drama before they'd go out every time, just trying to find the right thing that would fit, or this doesn't fit me, or that doesn't do this, or I've gained, whatever else. And they used to come into my room and I'd just be super honest. They always knew they were going to get an honest opinion off me. So they'd come in and I'd be like, no, I'd just be like, I don't know why you're wearing that. You know what I mean? And they'd just be like, well, Jaymie said this is it. You know what I mean? They walk off and they try something else on. And then sometimes I'd be like, it's too short that you can't wear it. And they'd be like, perfect, I'm going out. I'd be like, oh God. So, there was a lot of that going on. And, it was, that went on for years. You know what I mean? That wasn't just something that happened like one weekend. That went on for years and just constantly, hearing it and seeing it. And,
well, I know eventually you ended up helping them, which we'll come on to in a second, because I want to rewind a little bit.
Okay.
Where did your love affair with exercise start? Apart, you talked about being fast and beating, was it Rob Anderson?
Rob Anderson.
Do you still know him, by the way? Is he still your mate?
We're Facebook friends. I haven't spoken to him a long time.
Rob Anderson, if you're listening. Part of Jaymie's success story. But, for growing up, what was it like? Like, where did you find that love of exercise and fitness and the gym?
So always, loved sports and played a lot of sports and was big into exercise in that sort of way, through teams. But I think, something that come home was probably when I was like 11, 12, in the summer holidays in the UK. There's never really any sports on. The football stops, the rugby stops. There isn't too much on. So when you have this 6-week break over the summer holidays, there isn't too much on. And at the same time, like Xbox had just come out, and I think Xbox Live had come out. So I was just like addicted to playing Halo and just all that type of stuff. And, after about a week or two, I would get like very irate, angry, irritable, nasty, moody, I don't know, just like all the worst traits that you can think, basically. I wasn't a great person to be around. And, literally 2 weeks prior when I was in school, I had, rugby practice one night, football practice one night, games on a weekend. There was loads going on. I mean, I've just gone from that, which was just being active, pretty much every day, 7 days a week doing something, to doing nothing, and after like 7 to 10 days, 2 weeks, I just turned into this person. My mum was just like, what's wrong with you? You're just this little bratty, horrible boy. What's happened? So she'd just be like, look, get outside, go for a run. You need to go and blow off some steam. And I would go and run, and she'd be like, don't come back. If you're not back, if you don't come back for at least an hour. So I'd just go and run, and I just would run as far as I could, and then I'd realize I had to run back. and then I'd get back, and like the transformation was almost like instant. I was just like happy, upbeat. I was like dancing around. I was fooling around. I was just being, really optimistic. I was, just, my mum was like, what's happened to you? You're literally like a different person. And I think she noticed that. And, looking back, that was, she allowed me to become self-aware at a really young age that I need to exercise. I need to exercise for my physical health, but so much for my mental health, to just not be that person. And that wasn't easy over the next couple of years. You'd still end up in a bit of a rut with just not training or not doing things, but she would just like, get outside or go and do something, or go to the gym, go exercise. And I would, and I think it really, from a very young age, made me self-aware that this is something that really does need to be a non-negotiable for me, for my own sanity. You know what I mean? And it really, really does. And it allows me to show up my best every day for myself, but also for everyone else around me, business clients and everyone else. And, still to this day, if it's almost like directly related to how much I move. Like if I was super active and walking every day, it probably wouldn't bother me as much. But if I'm spending days where, I need to say this word right, sedentary. If I'm being more sedentary and I'm not doing, not moving as much and not exerting anything, it's as if it's almost like a bottle filling up. And the more it gets, I struggle to rationalize things. It's weird. And I just naturally become more negative. I fidget more. I'm more irritable. I'm not as productive. So, yeah, my mum, gave me that gift of being self-aware about that's just something I need to do from a very young age. And like I said, to this day, it's still something that I do have to manage very, very closely.
You're talking there about your mum sending you out for a run. Mm-hmm. I want you to take us back to the first time you went and lifted weights, because that's like the man thing to do, isn't it?
Well, my dad they had 2 flower shops, and my dad's like a man's man, and he's like, lifting weights isn't building real muscle. It's like shoveling dirt and picking up water buckets and stuff, because he used to have like big biceps and big arms, and he used to be like, never lifted a weight in my life. He used to take a lot of pride in that. I'd just pick up 4 buckets of water, and he'd walk them up from the cellar and put them out on the front. And but anyway, he said I think he wanted to maybe do a bit of father-son bonding. So we started going to the gym together, and I was about 15, I think, at the time. And we went a couple of times, and I think he didn't really like to stick at it too much. We went a couple of times, and I got stronger. It was nice. I think when I first went, I done a dip, and I could do like half. And the next time I went, the next day I could do a dip. Then the next time I could do 3 dips, and just getting stronger every time. And it was like addictive, like just every time you could get that little bit better. But then there was another lad in my school, and we started going to the gym together. We went to Fitness Connection when we were about 15, and we started going after school, and we get the train down, and we do this training session, and we do the same workout every day. It was like a 20-minute run. It was like bench press, squats, rows, but we'd always finish on 20 minutes of abs, because having a 6-pack was like the thing, like if you have a 6-pack, that's it. And so we did, like we were doing 20 minutes of abs, and we were going to the gym like 5 days a week, and we got strong, and we got fit, and felt great. And obviously it played into that part of that exertion that I needed as well. And that was really the real starting point to my like consistent training, which that's 14 years ago now, which is crazy. But obviously even before that, there was a lot of sports and running and exercise into that too.
Did you, like many young boys at that age, want to get big and muscly?
Oh yeah, I think a big part of that was like, having this chiseled body or being a certain size was more of a man's man, and people that I used to follow and stuff on YouTube and social media, they walked with their shoulders back. They spoke quite confidently. They look like they held the shit together a little bit more, and that was like a like an aspiration that I was like, well, I want to be like that, you know what I mean? I want to feel more confident about myself, especially like even though all that stuff went on in primary school, senior school was still a challenge for me academically, and I probably wasn't the most confident. I used to walk around with my arms folded like this all the time, and the head teacher at the school actually told me, because I used to cross my legs and cross my arms, and she's like, she's like, chill out, Jaymie, like talk to me, like open up. And she's like, this is a sign of like, the fence closing up. So there probably was a lot of that, and training and getting in better shape and feeling more confident and feeling more capable and strong, probably played a big part in just my confidence growing up as a young lad. So yeah.
And what did you do then? Because obviously, like, you coach women who want to go through a transformation, and some people might look at you and go, oh, it's easy for you. But you had your own transformation story as well. You've gone through a lot of the same things that the people you and your team coach women that they've done.
Yeah.
I want you to talk about some of the mad shit that you've done over the years.
Yeah.
to get results.
Some of the really mad shit, back then, there just wasn't that much information out there. So, you got a lot of your information off your gym bros, which was, chicken and rice and vegetables, and you got to eat brown rice, and it's got to be clean, and it's got to be good carbs and not bad carbs.
Did you ever drink egg whites?
I did. I'd watched Rocky. Who hasn't drank eggs if they've not watched Rocky? You know what I mean? So, I used to eat like that, and then like I'll eat like a bowl of pasta and cheese because it's got loads of calories in before the gym. So I used to eat like giant bowls of pasta, and I was very active. So like trying to gain weight and get a lot of calories in was difficult. And yeah, so I went down the route of like, I want to be in great shape, and I got probably very obsessed with just being in great shape and that meaning a lot. And I was willing to go to any extreme. So, I started eating, very clean. Like I would eat for breakfast, it would be boiled eggs, but I'd just eat the egg whites, and then I'd eat porridge with water and just like cinnamon. It was like very dry, bland, plain food. Like lunches were like sweet potato and cans of tuna, but with just pepper on. So it was so dry. I used to have to drink like two glasses of water with it. Everything was just dry and bland, and what I thought was clean and what was needed. And I did get in good shape. I was very lean. I got very ripped off doing this. But God, it was like, it got hellish. Like I got to the point where I cut out caffeine. So I started drinking decaf. Then I found decaf had caffeine in it. So I cut decaf out, and I had this tea bags called Red Bush. I used to put the tea bags in my glove compartment in my car. And if I went to someone else's house, I'd take my own tea bags in. I'd take my own food everywhere. And even when I started going on nights out and drinking, it went from, beer to vodka Diet Coke to vodka blackcurrant and water. So it was just, but it was just like that had the fewest amount of calories in it. So these were the lengths that I would take it. And it just got hard. I just lost so much of my social life, social interactions around food and drink, and I think it did get to like a breaking point where I was just like, God, is this really what it takes to keep this up? I feel knackered. I'm deflated. I can't enjoy food with other people. I'm just so strict about everything, and and then next minute, I seen like this guy called Lex Griffin. And he's like posting about eating Pop-Tarts, and he's like one of the best physiques I'd seen at that point. I was like, how is this guy eating like Pop-Tarts and buttered toast and just like all these
the bastard.
Yeah, I was like, how dare you?
I'm eating porridge with water.
I mean, about porridge, there was one time where I think someone said about making egg whites, porridge and cinnamon. And I thought, so I put it in, and he said he put it in the microwave. So I put it in the microwave, and apparently you meant to take it out every 20 seconds and mix it so the egg doesn't bond. But I didn't know that. Yeah, so I put it in the microwave, I put it on, come down, and it's all like, as you can imagine, eggs half bombed.
It's basically scrambled egg with porridge.
But worse, it was a bit like runny still. So, and then I put cinnamon on top, and my mum walks in, I'm eating this, and as I'm eating it, I'm going, ugh, I'm balking. But I'm like, these were the lengths I was willing to go. I was willing to say, you know, like, this is the type of stuff I've got to eat because that's what this gym bro eats. So that's what I need to eat because that's what I need to do to get in better shape. So it was extreme. My mum was looking at me like, you are just crazy. You know, so when I'm like 16, 17. So yeah, anyway, I see this lecturer, and he's talking about flexible diet, and I think it was more labeled if it fits your macros back then. And you know, eating all these great foods and Pop-Tarts. So anyway, I thought, look, I was like, this is getting too far for me now. You know, I want to enjoy a little bit more of my life and my food and my nutrition. So I drive down to Manchester and actually meet him. And he does me a training plan, you know, for workouts. But he also sat down with me and explained, you know, the principles of if it fits your macros and tracking calories and tracking macros, and, you know, how you can factor in a little bit of what you love and that type of stuff. And I was just blown away by it because I'd never really looked at food in this way before, about counting calories and especially about like counting macros and the way I could factor in a little bit of this.
And for anybody who's listening who might not understand what that means, can you explain that? What are macros?
So macros are short for macronutrients, which are your protein, carbs, and fats, and they are what make up calories. So calories are always broken down into protein, carbs, and fats. Protein and carbs are 1 gram is 4 calories, and fat, 1 gram is 9 calories. So anytime you look at, say, 2,000 calories of food, that'll be a breakdown of protein, carbs, and fats, which then add up to your calories also.
Right.
And then there's like formulas that you can do that can give you like optimal splits, you know, for you. So whether how much protein you need to each day, or how much fat, or how much carbs, or whatever it is, or whether you've got like you prefer to have a higher fat diet, there's ways of manipulating the figures to fit to the type of diet that you want a little bit more.
And so you learn this, you realise that you can eat Pop-Tarts and things.
Yeah.
What did you start off factoring into your own diet after eating horrible egg white porridge cinnamon weirdness?
Like everything. Pizza, bars of chocolate. Like I remember, especially when I was walking in the gym once with a McDonald's, and people were like, you shouldn't be eating that. And I was like, yeah, I can. Fits my macros. I'll eat what I want. You know what I mean?
Your mum must have been like, oh my God, who even are you?
Yeah, it was a huge shock, you know, and I'm just like, yeah, fits my macros. You know, like I just couldn't stop saying that for ages. But it was, you know, it was great. It was such a relief to just be like, oh my God, I can actually get in great shape and stay in great shape, but enjoy my diet more. Now, I think where if it fits your macros and flexible diet and gets a bad rap is people think it's all, you know,
crap food.
You know, and you could literally look at it and be like, well, actually a balanced meal, if you just track your macros, could be a chicken breast, a can of full fat Coke, which is just with sugar, and mayonnaise. You got your fats in your mayo, you got your protein in your chicken, and you got your carbs in your can of Coke. That in essence is a balanced macronutrient meal. But there's no micronutrients in it. It's not nutrient dense at all. It's not, as people would say, quote unquote, healthy. But you could eat meals like that. You could eat McDonald's every day and you could be shredded. You could be in the best shape of your life. But it's not just about how you physically look. You know, there's also what's going on inside as well. And you know,
and sustainability as well, which is a massive part of what you teach.
Of course.
You've got to be able to do it forever.
Yeah. And if you eat them calorie dense meals all the time, or McDonald's all the time, you know, they're gonna eat up a lot of your calories quite quickly, so you're gonna find yourself feeling a lot very hungry, basically. But it's just like, it was kind of breaking the mold of like, oh, this is you know, it's, what did he call it when you throw a spanner in the works, and this has always been the narrative for so long, and then
you were like a trailblazer, and you were like disrupting. You were a disruptor. That's what you were. You were a disruptor. And you did that in the gym as well. You ended up becoming a personal trainer. And I was one of those people who was coached by you and couldn't believe that you were telling. I'll never forget a moment where you sat me down, and one of our sessions was in the cafe of the gym, which at the time was a bit weird because... What? We're going to have a session in the cafe, but I've paid for the hour. you're supposed to put me on the cross trainer for 10 minutes and,
Yeah.
and then we do this and we do some abs
Yeah.
and stretches at
Yeah,
the
yeah.
end. But that was really valuable. You taught me about food, and I'll never forget you saying to me, so you can go and have some Haribo now
Yeah.
if you want to, which for our American listeners, candy, I don't know if you have Haribo in America. And that was
jelly
like
sweets.
jelly sweets. And that was like absolutely mind-blowing for
Yeah.
me, because here you were telling me that I could go and have the stuff that I'd always been told at slimming clubs was a sin, or was too many points, or banned, or on the ban list. And you developed the nickname at the gym of Macros.
Yes.
Everybody just knew you as Macros.
Yeah.
And you did end up with a massive client base.
Because I, for me, that was such a revelation. I'd gone from all this hate and pain and sacrifice and just deflation to just feeling like I had my life back with more flexibility with my nutrition. So, first I educated my sisters about it and my mum. My mum
What was that like?
It was hard at first, because they're just the people like you don't listen to probably your close friends and family the most. They're probably the people you just don't do you know
you rebel against them naturally.
Yeah. But I just harped on about it for so long. They were just like, maybe there's something to this. Yeah. And all my sisters have managed to get in absolutely fantastic shape. My mum managed to lose like 2.5 stone and started going to gym more and has got more flexibility with her diet and manages her calories really well. I think she's got in the best shape probably in the last 25 years. She's managed to get in the best shape following this, So it took her time, but she was okay with that. Which again, it's just amazing to see that you could have that impact. But for me, it was like happened with me, a couple of close friends, then my sisters and family. Then I started, pushing this onto my clients. And the reason I got the name Macros was because I didn't shut up about it, because I was like, everyone needs to know this, you know what I mean? It was every time I sat down and had a consultation with a new client, they thought they were just coming in to get PT, and then I'd spend that consultation basically talking all about calories, nutrition, macros. You're going to get on my fitness pal. I'm going to set you this. I'm going to help you. I'm going to guide you through this. You're going to be able to eat the foods you enjoy. You're going to be able to build a diet that with foods you like. We're just going to make it fit these numbers. And, this is unheard of, you know what I mean? Unheard, especially then. We're going back a while. We're going back, before if it fits your macros, a flexible diet was really that much of a thing. So, not only was I getting clients amazing results, but they were feeling like they could sustain it. They're going into work and their colleagues and friends are like, "Oh, you want a diet? Why have you got a bar of chocolate with your lunch?" And they're like, "Fits my macros." You know what I mean? It's just like,
I can.
Yeah, but them having that support off me, being able to drop me a message and be like, "Oh, all my colleagues are saying I shouldn't be doing this." My response would always be like, "Are they in great shape themselves?" And they'd be like, "No." I'm like, "You probably shouldn't listen to them."
Which is a very good piece of advice, actually, in general.
Yeah. And then sometimes people would be in good shape, they would be in really good shape. And I'm like, "Have they got anyone else in good shape who looks like you?" And they were like, "No." I'm like, "You probably shouldn't listen to them." Because a lot of people can get in good shape themselves, but still don't know how to get other people in good shape. And I think you should always, anytime you're hiring a coach or a trainer, you should do your homework. This is your health at the end of the day. You should go and do your due diligence on that person and actually understand, have they been able to get people that look like you results before?
Or who have a lifestyle like you. That's another important point.
For sure. Yeah. If you want to eat chicken and rice and drink egg whites or
no thanks.
Yeah, if that's something that you feel like you want to go to, by all means. But if you want to be able to enjoy a little bit of what you love from time to time and see yourself, doing something sustainably long term, then yeah,
go for it.
Go for it.
So you get maxed out on clients. Everybody's loving what you're able to offer support wise. You mentioned in our last episode with Jim that you would start giving people accountability and check-ins. And so you were basically doing a bit of the online coaching as an upsell to your one-to-one personal training.
Definitely.
And
it did allow me to charge quite a bit more than other trainers, because for me, I'm always like, what are the best people in the world doing? Right. I want to go and see what they're doing. It's not necessarily that I'm going to copy everything that they're doing, but I'm going to learn from them. And all these, top bodybuilding coaches or just top coaches, we're doing check-ins and weekly check-ins and keeping people accountable. More so than just the 1 hour a session a week or the 2 hours of sessions a week. So I used to download WhatsApp web. I think it's a lot more used now, but maybe not back then. And I used to write out like a little fitness tip or nutrition tip every week. And I'd send out these like 5-6 questions and I'd copy paste that manually every Sunday to my clients for them to fill out and send back to me on Monday morning. and I used to get replies like, oh, I didn't know that. So it was just giving that extra bit of value on the tips. And then they were answering questions and I was able to give them some feedback. I would look over their MyFitnessPal on my phone because I could add them as a friend, be able to look into their nutrition, and just, it was just offering that next tier of a service. But even when I would, go away on a holiday for a week or two, I would still have my clients do this check-in process, and I'd spend, my Monday morning answering them all back and giving them feedback. And they were still getting results. They were still going to the gym without me. They were still, checking in and tracking the food, but they had that accountability that they knew this check-in was going to come each week, and they could message me throughout the week. I'd get like a sweaty selfie. I've been in the gym without you. Like, don't worry. I'd be like, great, giving them loads of encouragement, but it was, that was almost like part of some sort of the model that I thought like, hey, I could take this online.
Because there must have been a lot of job satisfaction in that as well. Because you see, don't you, a lot of PTs and you were talking in the last episode, you were maxed out doing back-to-back hours and hours of PT. And if you're not offering that extra support with clients in between sessions, people can exercise till the cows come home. But if they're not doing the nutrition right, the results are a bit futile. And that must be hard as a personal trainer to train somebody just with their exercise, but them not get the results that they're capable of.
Yeah. For some personal trainers, they just want to show up, do a great session and go home. And if that's the level of service they want to offer, that's fine. For me, I wanted transformation, and I knew it took more than just the training. I'd kick people's asses in the training sessions. We'd really work on the form. We'd get them strong. I'd push a lot of these women to do more than they ever thought they could, which was super empowering for them to feel that strong and physically fit. But then the nutrition side of it was just the game changer, and that allowed them to see the physical changes in the body at the rate that they wanted, that much faster. And it was just always so interesting. Like, there's so many of their friends and family and colleagues would just be asking them, what are you doing? What are you doing? How are you eating that much food? Especially when I got clients to the goal and they were on maintenance. I had clients eating 2,200 calories a day, and I've got some of my female clients eating larger lunches than all the guys. And I'm like, how are you that small, or how do you look like that and you're eating this amount of food? Like, fits my calories. So it was just I just kept getting this feedback, and I was like, I've got to keep harping on about this. I've got to keep telling people, because it just seemed to be a big unlock. And one thing that really sat home for me was one of my clients that started on New Year's Eve, and she'd done lots of fad diets over the years, and everyone else in her office had started a fad diet on New Year's, as they do. And she's going to me in week 1, I think she lost like 2 pounds. And like, she's like, everyone's lost like 6-7 pounds. And then week 2, she's lost like 1 or 2 pounds. She's like, Jaymie, these are all losing so much weight faster than me. I'm feeling really demotivated. I'm like, stay consistent, keep showing up. Look, we're still progressing. Week 3, they've lost not as much weight, but she still keeps talking about all her colleagues are on a diet and doing really well. Week 4, so end of January, all these people have now fallen back off. Oh, I've given up. They've had a pizza and gained 7 pounds overnight and that type of stuff. And she was still showing up. And then month 2, still showing up, still losing 1 to 2 pounds a week. Month 3, still showing up, losing 1 to 2 pounds a week. And it gets to month 3, and previously she's going, I want to do what they're all doing, because they've all lost so much weight in the first 3 weeks. And now we're 3 months in, and is still going consistent. She's still seeing results. She's still getting. Still moving the needle, and now they're all asking her, what is that calorie macro thing you're doing? How are you eating a bar of chocolate and doing this? So, for me, it was all just that feedback of like this works, and this really does work.
You've missed a massive part of that story. If you're talking about Anna,
I am talking about Anna.
Right. So tell our awesome listeners what happened by New Year's Eve the next year, a full year later.
So Anna signed up with me on New Year's Eve, which I already liked this because she was like, I want to get ahead of everyone else. So started the day early, and I was like, I like that. So we started, and Anna went through a huge transformation over the course of a year. She lost 96 pounds. She'd not really run before, but once we got about 6 months in, she was like, I want to start running. So we used to go run with her on our training sessions. Then I went to America. I went to America for like 3 weeks and come back. And then we and her ran the Tunnel 10K together because I wanted to do that with her, which was great. And she never even ran, 10K prior to this, which was amazing. And then, in a year, lost 96 pounds, which was unbelievable. But the main reason that Anna signed up was she needed to lose weight before she even actually qualified for IVF.
Which is fertility treatment.
Yeah. And she had PCOS, polycystic ovaries, which can make getting pregnant even harder. So her main why for signing up and training was she wanted to lose weight to get IVF to have a child. So a year goes on. She loses all this weight. We get into February, I think it was, of the year after, and she's not lost any weight for like 8 weeks. And there've been a few clients that, and you obviously don't want to say to someone like, you're pregnant, or you might be pregnant, but just the relationship I love with my clients, I could speak to them a little bit more openly. And she's not lost any weight for like 3 or 4 weeks. And I'm going, are you sure you're not pregnant? Like, is there no chance? And she's like, there's no chance, Jaymie.
Because I can't get pregnant, because that's what she said to herself.
Yeah. And she, and she's just being like, no. Anyway, we get like I think about 6 weeks have gone by of her not losing weight. And I come in and bless her, she's on the bike, and I'll go over to her like after my session, and she just looks at me and just starts crying. And I was like, what's up? And she's like, you were right, I'm pregnant.
Without fertility treatment.
Treatment. And she went on to have a beautiful baby boy called Oscar. She trained right through her pregnancy, and she's actually pregnant with a second child now, which has been amazing. I got a lovely message off her husband. And yeah, there's I went, I've met Oscar a couple of times, but yeah,
amazing.
No, that was
Body smart baby.
Body smart baby.
I bet you've had a few of them, haven't you? Not yours.
No. I hope not. But yeah, there's been a lot actually. Yeah.
Do you know what? This podcast is all about you, so I'm going to ask: would you like children in the future?
Yes, I would definitely like children in the future.
I know Steph would probably have one now, but
no, I think she wants to actually become a qualified pharmacist first.
Well, and she wants to get married first.
She does. Yeah, one day we'll see.
Oh, look at that, moving swiftly on.
Yeah, she wants 3 kids. I would have been happy with 2, but she's like, no, 2's too normal, so 3's. 3's
you're both
okay.
From
and then
big families, though, aren't
we're both 1 of 4, but she's like 4's too many because then you don't fit in a car. That's what she's. That's her ration. That's what she says. 4's too many, then you don't fit in a car.
Oh, brilliant! Yeah. She's so practical. I love it. Brilliant.
Yeah.
So going back just a little bit, we touched on it in our first episode, the birth of Body Smart. You've got to this point, you're training people, you're getting amazing results, awesome stories, you're giving them extra, and you're going to go online. But of course, there was that massive transition period, which went on for a long time of still doing the one-to-one personal training and the online coaching. How long did that go on for?
3 years. I worked probably doing personal training and worked on Body Smart at the same time. And that not only took a lot of my personal finances, putting it in, testing marketing, testing ads, working with coaches, obviously just working on that alongside it to build out, the framework of like how we're going to coach, how we're going to market. Because I think for us, when we were going to build this app, when we went to launch it, I just thought, we'll just build this great app and this great product, and then people will just sign up because we've got a great app and product. And I was like, oh wait, nobody knows other than the clients and friends and family that knew about you and spoke about you. No one else really knew about you. You know what I mean? So it was a weird one, and it was a big, huge learning curve. I was like, right, I best go on YouTube and type in how to market. who is my ideal client?
Who is your ideal client?
Our ideal client we call Amanda, who's a 32-year-old woman who's a busy professional. She might have kids, she might not. We're not too thingy on that. She likes gin, she likes coffee. She likes a cocktail.
Oh, right.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of all the other things that we've got down. We've got a good list. We've got an idea of who our ideal client is and who we want to work with. Obviously, there's some.
She's been stuck for a while, hasn't she, with her diets and
She's
fitness?
Been stuck probably for about 10 to 15 years, if not longer, and gone on many yo-yo cycles, and is honestly probably feels like she's got a lot of other parts of her life in check. Maybe career's in a great place, might have a partner, might not, but that feels like it's in a good place. But for some reason, just this health, fitness, and nutrition, we're just not being able to grab the bull by the horns and really know how to navigate this. And it's highly, highly frustrating because, a diet isn't something that you ever get to stop. It's something that you're doing all the time. And because of that, you can't necessarily just give up on it. And for just how much your body's amazing. The body's the greatest instrument you'll ever own. And obviously looking after it, nourishing it, training, feeling good, looking good plays a huge part into just the overall quality of your life. And, these ladies that we speak to know that, and they know they want more, but they just haven't been able to figure it out. So, we offer that solution, we really do. And it's people coming in at all different starting points, whether they're the beginners with training or advanced, or whether they've tried 100 diets or tried a handful. Most women actually have tried a lot of diets.
Do you know, there was a study done, and it was in the Independent, which is a newspaper here in the UK. On average, people do 126 fad diets in their lifetime.
That's insane. And you can only imagine what that does for your relationship with food, your relationship with yourself. Like self-trust, that voice in your head where you say, I'm going to do something. And then when you do it and are not able to follow through, your word, not to anyone else, but to yourself, starts to mean less and less and less. And that is a dangerous place to be. But unfortunately, a lot of these diets have just set people up to fail, and they start looking inwardly and blaming themselves and saying, it's me. It's my fault. I'm the reason that I can't, get into great shape or feel great or look great. And because they've tried, and they all go into this new fad or this new diet, and it's guns blazing. I'm going to do this. This is going to be the time I'm going to make it happen. And then you get 2-3 weeks in, you feel awful. You're tired. Starving. You're tired. You're hungry. You know what I mean? You're in such a low place, and your physiology is just like, for some women, they lose the periods because they've been on that many yo-yo diets, and you just feel awful. And it's just, you eventually you cave. And I don't blame them. And it's because they believe it should be that hard. And, the weirdest thing is, I remember the first time this happened, it was with Lorraine. I think Lorraine. Yeah. And Lorraine's, working with me online, and she's getting great results. I think she's like 8 weeks in, maybe lost about 15 pounds. And she's eating all like foods that she loves, tracking her calories, tracking her macros. She's doing great. And she's like, Jaymie, it should be harder than this. And I'm like, why should it? And she's like, it just should be. It needs to be harder than this. I'm like, wait, so you're losing weight, which is what you want. You're enjoying your diet, which is what you want. And you're getting great results, which is what you want. And you're telling me you want it to be harder. It should be harder. She was almost getting a sense of she's not doing enough, or guilt, because it didn't feel as hard as every other diet had prior to that. And it's not that it won't have its moments, but it was weird. It was almost like she was like rebelling against me, because the last 20 years of dieting have been this certain way. So the fact that this felt more comfortable, she felt like she wasn't trying hard enough, even though she was getting results. And I was like mind blown by this. And then I seen that pattern happen again and again and again. And it was weird. You know what I mean? It was weird, but it makes sense. It's, you've got 20 years of something being a certain way. And then when it gets flipped on its head and it's going another way, and it feels more comfortable, and you're able to make this happen, it's foreign. But it needs to be, because that way didn't work, clearly.
So moving on, before we wrap this up, what are your goals for the future? Because you've already, I know you talked about this in the first episode, it was a lot of grit for you and Jim to build Body Smart, but you've got to this position with an awesome team all over the world, 500,000 followers on social media, on just Instagram alone. Yep. Everything's cool. You're helping hundreds, thousands of women all over the world every single year. What's next? Personal and professional. Go on.
You know what? For me, it's always just being more, but that can obviously not save me at times. We want to build the team out a little bit more. We want to get a slightly bigger team, and really just, we invest so much back into our coaches with new courses. We have a book club.
Tell our listeners about that, because I love this. I think it's great. So
we pay our coaches to be a part of a book club. So we actually pay them, so they'll read. So we'll pick a book each month, and we'll make sure that they put in their diary each week time to go and read this book, and then we'll discuss the chapters on that book in a group WhatsApp chat. And a lot of the books are either like, Stacey's picked them, or
Stacey is your head coach.
Stacey's our head coach, head of fulfillment, or maybe one of the coaches have. And we'll do books like a motivational interview, and then we'll talk about, hey, how could we use that chapter with a client? So it's just, that's the great part about having a coaching team, is that everyone's always looking to get better. Everyone's got this growth mindset, and then we're giving them the space and capacity and time to further their education, read books, do more courses. We'll pay for the courses. We invest back into the team so heavily because we just want to be better. We get people amazing results, but we want to get them better results. We want to do it in a shorter space of time, and we want to just keep improving across the board, and we will. It never ends. It does never end, and that's actually, every day is a school day. And I think the second you stop thinking like that, it's not a good place. But I can tell our team doesn't think like that. They always want to get better. So, the team improving always. That's always going to be a goal of ours. Maybe getting a slightly bigger team. Being able to coach more people, and I think I want to get to a place where maybe we can offer something to the market that's maybe not as bespoke and tailored as we have now, but it's just a way where we can give, evidence-based, really evidence-based coaching, nutrition, a level of accountability that might work for that person who's able to self-monitor really well. And honestly, it's just got a lot in there about that mindset and attitude that people need to create, and just see if we can give it a go. It's been obviously very different than we've always worked on a one-to-one basis, but unless we wanted to have a coaching team of 100 coaches, and not to say that that might not never happen, but that is a route that we want to go down. So,
what, having 100 coaches or not?
Not in the foreseeable. There's a lot of management that has to go into that. And it takes, and one thing that we've always wanted to pride ourselves on is I think sometimes when you see companies scale up really fast, they lose the quality of the service. And we're too integral for that to happen. We want to monitor things closely. We want to make sure that our coaches are given the best service that they can, that the team is given the best service that we can, and we're okay with it being taken longer. So we keep that integral part of quality. So not that we might never go to a much bigger coaching team. We might, because you never know. But I just want to make sure that we're able to just, we get DMs every day of people saying, your content's changed my life, and it's insane to hear that. And we get that just off the content, and I feel like we can get to a bigger stage. We can get to there with maybe a course, with YouTube, maybe with some public speaking. I don't know. I just know we want to do more, and we want to impact more people, and we really just want to be recognized as one of the best out there for reputable, science-backed, evidence-based, hard-hitting information that people need to hear, and we just want to keep serving as many people as we can.
Awesome. On a personal level then, what are the goals personally? The ones that you want to reveal, because I know there'll probably be some that...
Okay.
Yeah, go on.
Personally, one of the main reasons to start an online business was to travel. So, and that's obviously been out the window, and also I've not been able to do that because my girlfriend's been studying, so we did. It's crazy. They have 4.5 months between terms in university. I'm just what do you...
waste of time.
Yeah. So, but we made the most of that. We went to America for 3 months and done a lot of traveling around there. But when she finishes, she does come. She will be qualified this year. But then next year we're gonna pack our bags and go for.
Where are you gonna go?
I don't know. Where do
you want to go?
Everywhere.
Anywhere off the top of your head that you really want to see?
No, I literally want to do all of Australia, all of South America, Canada, just Africa, literally just everywhere I can. I want to, and so traveling is a huge personal goal of mine. It's any time I've gone to a new place or a new location, I've always come back with a different perspective. And I think when you're in the same place for too long, you just get too set in your ways, and it's nice to just go and watch people. It is.
I would also recommend, so I did 7 months around the world with my husband as a honeymoon, 7-month honeymoon.
Nice.
But we did that before we had our son, and I'm so glad we did it before we had him.
Yeah. No, we've said before,
just
kids.
Brilliant. Yeah. I don't feel like I've missed out, or I've done it. We've done it now. It's great, and I would love to do it again with my son. But fab.
Yeah. So that, traveling on a personal goal, and then honestly, a business goal is going to be to keep growing the team, keep improving the team. But I want to get the team on holiday together.
Yes.
So I want to make sure that we can do like 2 or 3 trips a year where we bring all the teams together, pay for it all, fly everyone in, have a huge villa, and just
Holiday! Woo!
just to get to meet the whole team. That would be amazing. And then the next one on that as well would be a retreat, some sort of retreat.
Yeah.
You know, we've got so many coaches, you've got so many amazing different backgrounds, from, you know, Stacey with her yoga, and there's just everyone's got like a unique part they could bring to the team.
Lots of talent.
So much talent. And just to do an amazing retreat for, don't know how long, don't know where, don't know how, but I want to make that happen, and we will make that happen. So, you know, that'll be pretty ace.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So if people are listening to this, they've liked the cut of your jib. I don't know if that phrase translates.
The cut of your jib.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I've heard it.
Have you not? Have you never
No.
heard that before? It means they like your banter, the way you talk.
Oh, right.
The cut of your jib. Never
Well,
heard
maybe.
that.
No.
Well, if anybody's listening and you think, yeah, he sounds like he knows what he's talking about, and they might be interested in coaching, where's the best place to find more about you?
So you can go over to bodysmartfitness.com, and that's our website. You can check out lots of stuff there. You can go over to our Instagram, which is @bodysmartfitness, Facebook, which is bodysmartfitness, and you can go over to our Twitter now, which is also bodysmartfitness, and YouTube /bodysmartfitness, which we should have a good few pieces of content out on YouTube by this point, by the time this has gone live. So lots of places. Do get in touch. Do follow us. Do drop us a message. Lots of value-driven content, some entertainment, me wearing a blonde wig sometimes. And
being naked on the toilet.
Exactly. Why wouldn't you want to follow?
Oh, look at that. We've gone full circle.
Here we go.